You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rodrance for Black and White Sports. Last year, there was an incident involving legendary broadcaster for Reds baseball and, back in the day, the Cubs, Thom Brennaman, who comes from a legendary broadcasting family. His father is Marty Brennaman. I grew up listening to both a lot. Now, Thom had worked himself up. He was with the Reds. And, of course, back in the day, he did WGN, Chicago Cubs baseball, something so many of us that are in our late 30s, early 40s, mid-40s, early 50s, we really grew up during that WGN era of Chicago Cubs baseball and, of course, hawking them on the White Sox. But Thom Brennaman last year was caught on an open mic making what was a homophobic slur. And then the fallout took over the planet. In fact, those videos involving Thom Brennaman were partly videos that blew this channel up, okay? They got thousands and thousands and thousands of views. And, of course, look, myself and John Matrix didn't feel like that a simple mistake made into a hot mic should have been cause for cancellation. Well, the Reds canceled him anyway. They eventually just fired Thom Brennaman, even though he came on, he apologized. It was what seemed like a heartfelt apology, in my opinion anyway, and they canceled him anyway. They got rid of him. There was outrage from the 7% on Twitter. Social justice warriors lost their mind. There were Democrats in Cincinnati losing their mind. And Thom Brennaman, legendary broadcaster, ends up losing his gig. Well, the other day, Stephen A. Smith come out, and he made some comments. He made a comment about the best thing going in Major League Baseball right now is Shohei Ohtani, okay? He was in the home run derby. He started the All-Star game. He pitches, he hits, and when he hits bombs. There's damn home runs that still ain't landed yet this year, okay? Well, Stephen A. Smith came out, made some comments on First Take involving, it was an anti-Asian kind of rhetoric, okay? He basically said this Japanese ball player cannot be the face of the league because he is Asian. Americans won't accept him. Really? He's the best thing going in baseball right now. With all the black eyes that baseball has taken this year, he is the only reason to tune in and watch Major League Baseball this year. He's a great story. He seems to be a great kid. And they're wildly stupid comments from Stephen A. Smith. I don't think anybody's confused about that. It's a dumbass comment. And then we've got some comments he made about Nigerians, making fun of about how they talk. Not a great look, Stephen A., especially amongst the fact that ESPN, the roof is on fire right now over a diversity implosion over there involving, look, you brought it on yourself with all your woke narratives over in that ESPN building up in Bristol. Well, that's fine. Stephen A. came out on bended knee, as you would expect, and gave really a pathetic apology. Well, Marty Brennaman has come out, and he has addressed Stephen A. Smith. Marty, again, is the legendary father of Thom Brennaman, the broadcaster that got fired. Like I said, Marty was a legendary broadcaster himself in Major League Baseball. Marty Brennaman to Stephen A. Smith, I only wish my son's employers had been as forgiving. Longtime Cincinnati Reds play-by-play announcer Marty Brennaman replied via Twitter to an apology Stephen A. Smith made on First Take, showing support for Smith and adding that he wished his son's employers, quote, had been as forgiving. And this is, of course, I had to start today's show by apologizing to the Asian and Nigerian communities. Marty Brennaman tweeted at him, great apologies, young man. I only wish my son's employers had been as forgiving as yours. Your words and sincerity were heartfelt. Keep up the good work. Smith apologized to the Asian and the Asian American communities after he suggested earlier that Major League Baseball can't market Shohei Ohtani because he uses an interpreter for most of his interviews. Incredibly dumb. But I don't think Stephen A. should be canceled for it either. ESPN Stephen A. Smith, I do not believe Thom Brennaman deserves to be fired. Well, Brennaman's son, Thom, resigned from his position as play-by-play announcer for the Reds and Fox Sports Ohio. This was last September, about 1 month after his on-air apology, which included a Nick Caselio's home run call, and he apologized for using a homophobic slur during the Reds Royals broadcast. It was on a hot mic. It was right before they came back off a break, and he said something into the mic. Thom Brennaman appeared on the comedian Josh Potter's podcast earlier this month to discuss how he's slowly come around to accept that people enjoy joking about the now famous, quote, drive into deep left field by Caselio's call he made. And I don't know exactly what that's about, but the point is, he came out, Marty Brennaman did, and said it would have been nice if the Reds would have been a little bit more forgiving in Major League Baseball. There was a time that when people made mistakes like this, that they were not canceled, okay? They were able to apologize and continue their careers doing what they were doing, okay? But if you go back and look at the fallout from that Thom Brennaman situation, he was getting hammered from city council members, people saying he's a bad reflection on the city of Cincinnati. People were calling the Brennaman family repugnant over the situation. I mean, everybody was getting hammered. Marty Brennaman was getting hammered because he's the father of Thom when Thom simply made a mistake, okay? Stephen A. Smith just made a mistake. I didn't like what Stephen A. said because I thought it was a poor reflection on Americans being able to embrace diversity. You know, the non-forced variety of diversity. When it's forced, that's when I got a damn issue. Okay? So, he's right. He's right. It would have been nice if his Thom Brennaman's employer would have been more forgiving. And the fact that he resigned from his position, that tells you, I can tell you from somebody that managed in the corporate world, higher up, they probably forced him into resignation. Okay? They said, you can resign, and you won't have a firing on your resume, or we'll fire your ass. That's generally how that works, okay? So, he was forced out, and Marty Brennaman just essentially confirmed that. We got to do better as a culture, folks. I'm talking to you, all you wokey-wokes that come through this sports channel and want to get triggered over everything that is said. We got to get back to being more forgiving as a culture when people simply make mistakes. Look what happened to Gina Carano, and I think it's very arguable that she said anything wrong. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.